Hello and welcome to Rally Race Guys, episode 22 I think. So today, this is the new engine that I got. So I've disassembled everything other than the bottom end. So head's under the bench, gearbox is under the bench as well, but we're not using any of that. All we're using from this engine, because this came out of a 106 Quicksilver, and the 106 Quicksilver is the same bottom end, other than it's slightly higher compression. I don't know if that's different from the rods, or different from the piston height, or how it's skimmed, or the head, or what have you. So obviously the head is an injection head. Don't want to use that, but we'll use that when we want more power for this. That's when you use it, or you go for a 16 valve head, which we might do in the future. But obviously we need to get this prepped so we can get the pistons out, get the liners out, get the bearings out, get the crank out, so we can get it all cleaned, get it deep cleaned, and then reassemble it, hone it and everything, put the liners back in it, put the new liner seals, new bearings, new rod bolts, everything. The full works is going into this, but remember it is still a standard engine, so most of the parts we are getting from either Eurocar parts or Peugeot themselves. We're going to just take the sump off today, just so then it's ready to get rid of it, or to take everything apart. Then the engine that we got, that we took out last week, that's on the floor over here, and we're going to drag it round, and unfortunately because this is on the stand, we don't have another stand, so we're going to have to do that one on the floor. But all we need off that engine is the head, because the head is going on here with some valve work, getting the valves lapped, getting the springs shimmed, and raising the compression ratio by skimming the head, if it is possible. Which we'll find out when Ryan helps us with the calculations and what have you for piston to valve clearance, and then we'll work out what the compression ratio is as well. But yeah, so further ado, we will take the oil pressure sensor out. Yeah, take the oil pressure sensor out, take the sump off, and then it'll be ready to disassemble the rest of it. So we'll go with that. Okay, so we've taken all the bolts out. There's two nuts, two shorter bolts, and the rest are long bolts. So the two nuts go on the studs there and there, and the two shorter bolts go here and here, because obviously these are going into where the crank would be, so obviously it's only shorter. The rest goes surround, and they're the longer ones, as you can see on the bench. You can see the two nuts, the two shorter ones, and then the rest of them. So we'll now get this baby off, but I think oh, lovely. What's this? Oh, lovely. It's probably not done the engine the world of good. But the good thing is, I'm gonna get the new oil pump. So bit slack in that, but yeah. So I can turn this, and you can see it all. There's still a little bit of oil in there, so when I tip it over, it's gonna go everywhere. But that's why we've got a workshop. There you go, main cap bolts and everything. So there you go. So let's flip it over and get this place covered in oil. Okay, so I'm midway through editing this and completely forgot that we didn't continue. So once we actually got everything apart and we did it over multiple days, we actually found that, as you can see on the screen right now, there was major scoring and burning on the crank, which I spoke to several guys, including Ryan, a couple of my friends that are more knowledgeable about engines and what have you. So we actually came to the conclusion that the crank was unusable. So if we'd left the bottom end as was, we'd have been fine. We'd probably got another 30,000 miles out of it, if you were in daily driving. If we're gonna push it, we'll probably get 500 to probably a couple of thousand miles, and that was about it. Because I know myself, I'd have done an oil change probably every 250 to 500 miles. So then we'd have got fresh oil in it. So it probably had a bit of a better life, should we say? Because we would have been renewing the oil every so often. It'd be brand new oil. But we came to the conclusion that, as I said earlier, it was unusable. So we decided to pack it up into boxes and just put it away, because the engine was about 60 quid, so it wasn't worth trying to get a new crank for it. We got an engine sat there, so actually we decided to start disassembling it, as you'll see in the next half of the video. So we actually had great success with this. Yes, I understand that we are months behind on the videos, and we haven't really had time to record. So as you'll see, the disassembly now of the engine. It's not a complete disassembly. It's only the basics. We did the most of it. We did most of it with Ryan, which I'll put the photos up at the end, so you can actually see what we did. And then hopefully the next video will come in the next month or so, because we have everything ready for the build. It has taken a couple of months to get to where we are at the moment, but I'm glad we spent the time to actually disassemble the original engine out of the car and take some time to clean it properly, get all the liners out, and actually get genuine parts where we could, and where we couldn't get a genuine part, get remade parts, remanufactured. So that's where we've been. So we've been hard at work, not just only working on our own engine, but other people's cars as well. So I've been very busy. I haven't really stopped. So this is why the videos have been taking so long to come out, because we've been so busy doing other things, like building electric race cars, which hopefully I can tell you a little bit more about it in the near future, which is a little bit more exciting because it's a total unknown for all of us. But yeah, anyway, we'll carry on with the video, and we'll hopefully enjoy. Bye.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick. All the boys stare, can't help it, it's a habit. Clothes that she wears, short skirt and a jacket. I just wanna get her all alone on a mattress. I just wanna have it, I just gotta have it. Rumors all around say her body is fantastic. All natural, not a piece of fur is plastic. Head to her toes, yeah, they say that she's a latch. Yeah, the whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want a demonstration. And I've always learned it better with a hands-on education. So I need a private session if you get what I am saying. And they say that she's not easy, no, she's really complicated. But that only makes it better, and it's got me so fixated. And I'm not the type to wait around, I've never hesitated. But she's got me captivated, so the game, I'm gonna play it, yeah. She's got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. You look good when you're undressed. I heard you like to get away. I heard you like to stay out late. I heard you had a couple boyfriends. I heard they didn't treat you right. I heard you're hated by your girlfriends, 'cause all the guys want you tonight. Yeah, they say she's too hot, they say she's too cold. Where she came from, nobody really knows. They say she looks young, but say she acts old. From everything I've heard, she gets out of control. And all the boys say she was sent from the heavens, but I'm not too sure that this girl is a blessing. She's got the devil's eyes, and they'll cut you like a weapon. She's stuck in my mind like a bad obsession. Got bad intentions. She's got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.
So as you can see, I've finally got the gearbox off. It is literally 3 Allen bolts, which are H8, so 8mm, and the 3 starter motor bolts, and the gearbox just literally slides off effortlessly. And it is light because it's aluminium casing. Obviously I've got no fluid in it because it's all over the floor, or I did try and drain it, but evidently it's gone everywhere. So we're going to realign it back up. I want to take the clutch. I'll change my gloves because I want to try and reuse this clutch. So I'm going to take these 4 out, take the clutch off, take the flywheel off if I can today, and I think I'll leave it at that for today. Then next time we'll get the head off, and see what work's been done to the block and what's been done to the head, because we'll be able to see what's what. Obviously I've still got the distributor on there, still got the main coolant and everything here. So, but as you can see, it is light enough for me to pick up on my own. Yeah, there's still fluid in there. There always will be. So, yeah. So all spark plugs out, everything else is out. But yeah, so we're not too far away from getting it completely stripped. So it'll be probably a couple more hours to get it back down to a bare, probably a short block. But yeah, we'll get on with removing the clutch, pressure plate and flywheel. Yeah. Okay, so tonight has been a success of sorts. The car didn't go, unfortunately, but it'll go at the weekend. but we've got the gearbox split, most of the ancillaries pulled off, or sorry, all of the ancillaries pulled off the car. So we've got to take the head off, split the, or take the tension off, take the cam belt off, and then pull the head off, take the distributor off, take the cam out, and then have a look at it, clean it, have a look to see if we've got any, if there's any headwork or anything. Ryan can assess it, and then we can go from there, form a plan. We'll break it all down, see what valves and what everything in the state of it is. New valve guides. We're going to lap the valve, shim the springs, and skim the head. Give it a good old polish, or good old clean, and then lacquer it all so it stays nicer, so it doesn't corrode over time. And then that'll be the head done. Bottom end, we're going to put new shells in it. We're going to put new rod bolts in it, new liner, seals, new main cap bearings, new main bolts. We can't source, so we're just going to use the old ones. We've got to measure them to see if they're stretched. Apparently you can use them twice, but we'll go from there. Obviously that's from that side and that's from that side, so we're going to make them together. Then we're going to build this engine. So we're going to build this engine, and that will be the race engine. So that will be the standard engine. Then we'll do this. Apparently it's been bored out to 1400, so we'll do ALP rod bolts, etc. on the bottom end. Then we'll build a nice head for it, nice ported, put new valves, higher rate springs in it, bigger cam, and we'll put a refurbished distributor on it. We'll block off where the fuel pump is, which is here, which I've got a blanking plate, and then run it a set of, and then we'll get a nice set of Genvs or something later down the road, but that won't be for a while. We'll just get this engine up and running so we can actually compete in the car, and we can test out the chassis, get all the suspension dialed in, and generally get the car up and running. Then we'll increase power. We'll do a better ratio gearbox with an LSD, and we'll go for a quick shift. But that's all in time. But for now, we've got the two engines apart, and then we'll marry them together over the next couple of months. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you've got any questions about how to take them apart or put them back together, taking them apart is my forte, putting them back together, not my forte. So if you've got any questions on anything, just pop it down in the description. We can try it and help you as best as possible, or email us, or direct messages on any social media that we've got. Links are in the description. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you in a bit.